I think it's incredibly helpful when you sit in a room with people who are all going through the same thing you are, to help you realize that you're not alone in this. Like, this is something that everybody struggles with. And it really is something that every business should go through at some level to understand, are we clear about who our best clients are? Right? Does the messaging resonate with the problem they have? Or are we just out there being too broad, too general, where it doesn't land with anybody?
Audio Jungle.
Hello, and welcome to Business Focus, produced by the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce. My name is Angela Inzarello with Impact Business Solutions, and I'm privileged to be your host as we highlight the great work our local businesses are doing. Well, if it's your first time here, we would love for you to subscribe, like, share, and do all those fun things you're supposed to be doing on social media. We're growing our channel. We've got an exciting lineup for 2025, and we'd love for you to be a part of it and get notified. So yes, welcome to 2025. And who is my guest this week? If you've never met the Mr. Famous James Lawson with Impact Business Solutions. James, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Angela. Very happy to be here.
You were on Business Focus years or decades ago when we first started the business. Well, we'll get into our business later. But yeah, it's transformed. We're now doing a video podcast, which, by the way, you help us produce. So thank you very much for your support.
Yeah, back in the day, it was all live in person in a studio.
Yes.
Yeah, it was scary.
Fairfax.
To say the least.
There was no cutting, there's no editing, there's no we're doing here. No. Makeup and all that kind of stuff. No, we have that now.
Whatever happened, and that's what went out. So.
Anyway, it's great to see. I really appreciate it. And you are on the other side of the camera, which is unusual for you. But yeah, so a lot of folks probably don't know you're James Lawson, I'm Angela Inzarello, but we are the dynamic married couple duo. So why don't you just share with the audience a little bit about who we are before we get started to talk about why we're really here, which is the BizMaker Launchpad program.
It's a bit of a story. So if this is your first time, so Ange and I are husband and wife, and we started this business back in 2009. So it feels like an age ago. But yeah, we spent our world in corporate, and we actually met on a trip during our time at corporate. We decided corporate wasn't where we wanted to be. We started our own business, which was a coaching and consulting business. And it, like most businesses, it's morphed. Things have happened, things have changed. Our ideal client profiles changed multiple times. But yeah, that's who we are. So we're a husband and wife team, which is it's a very strange dynamic for sure.
And they tell people all the time, it's like, thank God there's alcohol and thank God there's happy hour. No, we love working. Yes. We love working together. And as any new entrepreneur knows and understands, especially coming from corporate, it's hard. It's really difficult. So we got a lot of help. We reached out. We know where our strengths are most of the time. And we found the Reston Chamber. So we're really excited to be a part of the Reston Chamber. And, part of what we do to help entrepreneurs grow is really a big part of what Inkspire is. So for those, we'll talk a little bit about that before we get into Launchpad. But yeah, Inkspire, it's been around since 1999, and it's the Chamber's 501c3 educational foundation. Back in the day, incubated a number of companies contributing commercial real estate, employees, revenue into the county. And we were a true incubator. We had space there on Fountain Drive, if you remember Fountain Drive back in the day. So yeah, as all programs do, they've morphed over the years, continuing to be an incubator of sorts, to be an advisor. And our organization has done different things in the community, working with other entrepreneur organizations, again, to help small businesses thrive and grow. Last couple of years, we've done a grant program, which was very beneficial to the organizations that were beneficiaries. But also, we decided that this year coming into 2025, what do we really want to do? We want to help more organizations grow. And that's really kind of how Launchpad started, or that's how the idea of doing more of a group program and including more businesses in the county kind of got started. So let's talk a little bit about that, James. Let's talk a little bit about, kind of why it makes sense for us to work with Inkspire on this particular program.
So I think you have to really go back to the whole intent of Inkspire, right? Which is really getting focused in on emerging businesses, right? We would call that an early stage business. And in our world, an early stage business is someone probably doing less than 30K a month. That's the early stage. So we generally don't look at the life that they've been in business. We look at where they are in terms of their business evolution and their revenue stream. And so it kind of made sense, since we already had and were delivering a program to our own marketplace around this curriculum, to then be able to take that and literally just drop it in to Reston Chamber and allow them then to get it out to as many people as they could get. And so it became more about a scalability thing than anything else, which basically means is, 8 people or 50 people in the program for Reston Chamber doesn't in any way, shape or form create any crises of resource, right? So it makes a lot of sense for them to be able to touch as many people as they can. This is just a really cool way for them to do it in a way that's very efficient.
And it's in our marketplace. I mean, the Reston Chamber primary membership spans from our largest member to our smallest one-person member.
Right.
But 75% of the chamber members are going to be right in that space. So, as we know, you talked about it, right? The revenue, $10K a month. That can make a huge difference. That's $100,000 business, which, by the way, people, it's really difficult to do. So when you're coming into the market and just starting a business, especially from corporate, you just don't have those kind of resources, and you don't really have the understanding. You don't have some of the foundational elements. You do what you do really well, whatever that might be. If you're an expert in marketing or an expert in IT, what have you, you could do that really, really well, making pizzas even, right? But running the business and having some of those foundational elements are really what this is all about. So from a logistics standpoint, the curriculum, I think we've designed it. We went back and forth with the board, James, on like the best way to design a program that was going to be beneficial, but impactful as well. So let's just talk a little bit about, I guess, the structure of it.
Sure. So it's what we would call a hybrid program, which essentially means is there's online learnings. So these are trainings that has been developed around a very specific subject. We'll talk a little bit about what that looks like. But the idea being is that the online trainings do all the heavy lifting. Then what we're going to do with anyone who comes into the cohort is do a bi-weekly group coaching or have a group coaching environment. So this is going to be more Q&A. It's going to be working very specifically on the item or the training that came the week before. So it's highly focused. I mean, it's very, very focused. We're not going off on flights of fancy and talking about Facebook ads or that type of thing. The curriculum has been developed to allow the people coming in to build what we would call like a 6-figure marketing foundation. Like that's really what it is.
Yeah, because we're focusing on the core marketing elements to drive business, right?
Right. And so for these guys specifically, and for our clients who come into the program that we have, you're really talking about ideal client. You're talking about getting your unique messaging, your points of differentiation, and your irresistible offer, right? That's really your core 4. And there's a couple of things that sit either side of that. But essentially, that's what they need to be focused on. And it really is, we talk about this all the time. It's not enough to be going out networking. It's not enough to be going out posting on social media. Because if the information that you're putting out doesn't have something solid behind it, then generally you're doing a lot of things that aren't landing the way they need to land for your ideal client, and et cetera, et cetera. So we want to make sure that we get them through this, that they've got all that 70% dialed in, and that becomes the fuel. So anything that they do in the market after that is going to be far more or exponentially better in terms of the way it lands and how it's going to attract people into their space. That's the idea.
And what I also love about the cohort, and we've done cohorts before, but this one is truly giving all the participants back information for themselves, but also they can share information. That's what we love also about group coaching and the value of feedback, because everyone's in a very similar boat, maybe different industries, but they're struggling, right, with the same thing. Everyone, I don't care who you are, you struggle with who's my ideal client. You might be able to get that one easier, but what differentiates me? Right? It's hard for us to find or figure out what our own value is. So it's really good to get that insight from, fellow business owners and entrepreneurs.
And I do believe, I think it's incredibly helpful when you sit in a room with people who are all going through the same thing you are. to help you realize that you're not alone in this. Like, this is something that everybody struggles with. And it really is something that every business should go through at some level to understand, are we clear about who our best clients are? Right? Does the messaging resonate with the problem they have? You know, or are we just out there being too broad, too general, where it doesn't land with anybody? And so that's what we're going to do. And like I said, it's makes sense for the chamber to install something that's already tried, tested, and proven to work, and then just go run with it. So that's what we're going to do.
And, you know, the timing is perfect, right? It's beginning of the year. Everyone's looking at 2025 is going to be different. This year is going to be different. I'm gonna work on my business. I'm not gonna work in it as much. So I'm really excited for, you know, where we are this year to launch this and who all is involved. So let's get into a little bit more logistics. So we are launching at the end of January. So we're going to have a small cohort. The great part about this is, as James said, it's hybrid. So we're going to have a nice kickoff meeting where we do introductions and get the logistics out of the way so everybody understands what they're working on. And then it's every other week. You work on the online curriculum that's to be sent to you. And then we have a call so you can answer any questions, have discussions, be able to bounce ideas off of. And then that'll happen every other week for 4 weeks.
Yep.
And then we'll have the kickoff at the end, I should say. It's really more of a planning session, which we love. We do this with our clients, and we've done this with chamber members and really across the region with, sitting down and doing a planning, right? What's the planning all about? Why is that so valuable?
So I think it's really important that once you kind of get through this, and to your point, Angela, we want to get a kickoff meeting. That's in person. Everyone gets to know everybody else. So we start to build those relationships. From then on, it's all going to be Zoom online. But once we've been through it and we want to make sure that when they leave this, at least for the next 90 days, they've got a plan of action of how they're going to take the information and actually implement or install it in their own business. It's not a case of let's get it done, then it's like bye-bye. We want to build the plan for at least the next 90 days. That way, there's intention, right? And this is something we talk about all the time. We want to be intentional about the things that we're doing. So as they come out of this and they start to exit, they'll be going into the next part of the year with a complete intention around what it is they're going to work on, what they're going to build for that kind of next 90 days. So it's really, really important. Yeah,
I love it. I'm thrilled for it, and I'm excited for it as you are. Let's talk a little bit about who's it really ideally for, like who is the makeup? I know we talked a little bit about the revenues, but who would you say is really geared for? Who is most ideal? Who should be stepping up?
Yeah, so kind of I would say that outside of the revenue side, right, which we've already identified, you're probably in that 10 to 30K a month range.
Yeah. And maybe less, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, maybe less.
Few startups are, less than 2 years in business. They're finding their way. Absolutely perfect timing as well.
Correct. Over and above that, then it really comes down to, are you in a business that has growth potential? Right, that's kind of one of the things you're looking at. Like, does it really have that growth potential?
Yeah.
For the individual, the people that are going to benefit most, and again, I'm going to keep coming back to the fact this is how we look at our client base, are they self-starters? Are they going to do the work? Right? Are they committed to the process? Right? So there's a few things in there that are very personal outside of the business type and the demographic as a business. But that's kind of what we're going to be looking for. And again, through the application process, is understanding a little bit more about what that individual looks like or what that business looks like. But yeah, I mean, anyone who's really looking to make a dent in their business over the next 12 months, this is kind of where you start.
And I love how you said before about it being, you want to get like 70% dialed in. So you might have your ideal client dialed in or what have you, but it's really good to go back and tweak, revisit, especially with the new year. There are organizations that really changed, as you and I know, James, after COVID, right? So this is an ideal opportunity to kind of revisit. Do you mind taking a second to just walk through the modules? Because I kind of love them.
Well, yes. But as I said earlier, ideal client, right? We want to make sure you're really, truly identifying who your best client is. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be working with them right now.
Right.
But as you move your business forward, those are the people you're going to want to reach out to.
Yep.
So that's part one. We want to make sure we're really clear around that. The second piece is going to be your unique messaging. One of the things that we always see is messaging that is so general that it really doesn't speak to anybody, right? Now, we have frameworks and strategies and tactics that will help people kind of identify what that messaging needs to look like. But once that's done, once the messaging is done congruent with the ideal client, the next hardest thing is what makes you different, what makes you stand out from everybody else. And unfortunately, the reason that becomes a really hard place or a hard thing to deal with is in the way that we message and market, right? And we'll be talking about how you can actually remove yourself from that playing field. And we talk about the blue ocean, being able to put yourself in an area where there isn't a lot of competition, right? And again, there's strategies and there's tactics around how you actually want to do that.
Right.
And then the final part of the core four is going to be the irresistible offer, right? How do you structure offerings into a marketplace where your ideal client, who now identifies through your messaging, looks at you as being someone so different to everybody else that they just want to work with you,
right?
But you've now created that offer that takes them over the line, and in a way where they actually believe, I would be dumb not to go work with this company.
Absolutely.
So everything builds on the thing before. That's the key here. Like, we do the first thing, then we do the second, and each one builds. And then past that, we're going to look at how to build a simple funnel, right? How to kind of drive leads into your business, because honestly, that's
the next step. Yeah, that's the next step to start driving business.
Well, without the leads, it really doesn't matter anything else, right? So we want to make sure that you understand how to do that. So yeah, it's a lot of fun doing this. I know I always say that, like Angela always gets on me. Stop saying it's a lot of fun. But it is. It's fun to go through that process and get into places that you really never thought you would get into in terms of how you're thinking about your business and how it operates. So yeah.
And I would just love how it's all centered around the chamber, and we're a connector. So, you're going to get the support locally. You're going to get, obviously, the cohort. You're going to be meeting some other businesses that are in the same spot as you. So great opportunity. Logistically, like I said, we're taking applications through the end of the month. You'll see all the details. We'll put the website address up so you can there's an FAQ on there. We talk about all the logistics. We've got a great workbook. That's going to be a part of it. So again, 8 weeks, I call 8 weeks to your core marketing message. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be quick. It's going to be fast. And I'll be honest with you, I can't wait till the end of February, James. I think we're going to be into March, and it's going to be like springtime and none of the snow that's going on. Tell me we're not looking forward to that.
Yeah, we are. We are very much looking forward to that. But yeah, listen, can't say enough about how the chamber stepped up to want to kind of get this done, make it available to as many people who wants to jump in. And there's not a lot of ways to do it where you can actually open it up to the multitude. Like generally it's like, and listen, ideally 8 to 10 people is an ideal number for doing this. But there's a reality that says, listen, it doesn't really matter. All right. It's scalable. It's completely scalable. And so, yeah, it's really up to the individual to recognize these are things that I need to tidy up and get better knowledge of in my business. So yeah, come on in.
All right. Well, thank you again, James, for being here. If you can get past the accent, I think you will. I think we'll
fine. Yeah. It's okay.
Captions so you'll be able to get through
I understand it perfectly. Let's just be clear.
Well, we'll have the recordings as well available. And people, I know I've already spoken to people, they can't make whatever set. Okay, great. No worries. You can just kind of look at the recording as well, because everything is going to be in the curriculum. We use Kajabi as our platform. So anyway, Jamesy, thank you for being here. As always,
thank you, my dear.
You. And really look forward to seeing everybody on our next episode. And again, if you've liked this, I would love for you to share it. We've only got a few more weeks for this cohort to kick off. So if you wouldn't mind sharing it and commenting it to someone who you think could benefit from a little bit more of their marketing foundation, we would appreciate it. Again, James, thanks for being here. I look forward to seeing you next time.
All right. Bye.
Stay in touch with us for future episodes. Like, subscribe, and share. See you next time.